Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me. I apologize for the technical issues that were caused. We had some technical issues. Um, yes, we had a bit of glitchy internet, so which is why our live stream did not go through. Give it some time. Let's wait for some users to build up. We're waiting for more users to come in, and you can access. I've sent a different link. The admissions team must have sent a link to everyone's ID, email ID, with the new, the new link for the new webinar. Just to remind everyone, the old link is not working because of a technical glitch. However, we do have the webinar up and running again, uh, which is great. So again, let's just give it a bit more time, about a minute or so, for other people to settle in. I would encourage everyone, as you know, the protocol for live streams is, I would encourage everyone to ask questions on the chat in the right-hand side. Please feel free to ask any question you want, whether that be related to admissions, that be related to the growth of the program, that be related to any particular, aspect of Vedika that you have a doubt or are confused about. Um, Yes. So again, I see we have about 5, 7 users here. I guess we can perhaps wait for like another minute, allow for more people to build up, and then we can invite Mrs. Ruchi Mahajan in. She'll be speaking about the program. She'll be speaking about the growth of the program, different aspects, different elements. As mentioned, for users who are currently joining the live stream, please do ask questions on the right-hand side in the chat bar. We're welcoming everyone over here, and we encourage you to ask all the doubts you have about Vedika. We'd encourage you to ask about any aspect of Vedika that you need clarity on, and we'll be more than happy to answer all of these questions. So we have about 8 users. I'm just hoping to hit up till double digits. That's great. So before I invite Mrs. Ruchi in, I just want to remind everyone that we are currently in our final round of admissions, and our deadline is by 14th July. So for all who are watching the webinar, who know of friends or relatives who want to apply to Vedika, please do get the information to them that 14th July is the absolute last date that you can apply to Vedika, beyond which the admissions will stand closed until the batch commences in August 2016. Oh, sorry, August 2019. Right. So we have about 7, 8 users. I can call Ruchi in. So
Hello, everybody.
hi, everyone. So it's great. As I mentioned, everyone, please use the chat on the right-hand side to ask questions, to get all doubts cleared, to ask about the admissions process, the placements, to ask about LCBS. This is actually a forum for you here to, understand exactly what you need from Vedika, to understand the nitty-gritties of Vedika, and for you to get any of your doubts and answers cleared. I'll begin the conversation though with Ruchi by asking her. I mean, you've been almost at Vedika since the inception of
Yes.
the program,
Mm-hmm.
and from a space where we were about 30, 35 students then to the fifth batch now. How, in your opinion, has been the growth of the program? How, in your opinion, in such a small period of time, has Vedika made such a large name within the education space, especially within the postgrad management education space?
Right. So, for people who are new applicants or for people who don't know much about Vedika, I would like to begin by saying
Sure.
that the program, as some of you would know, is a unique alternate to a traditional MBA program.
Right.
As India's first women-only program as well. The main aim of the program was to create a cadre of successful women professionals. And I think the time it was launched was the right time where people were looking for alternate to MBA. And there are enough MBA colleges which are mushrooming in every colony, I would say, city, colony, country. And I think the curriculum has been a standard curriculum for the last, say, 20 years or 25 years.
Rinse, wash and repeat.
Correct. So I think what was coming out of MBA schools, traditional MBA schools, was like a cookie cutter kind of a model,
Yeah.
where I think employers also are saying that people are coming out of MBA schools with MBA degrees, but and they have a chip on their shoulder
Right.
saying they are management students. But so, with due respect to all MBA schools, don't have the exact and correct knowledge of how it's going to be at the workplace. So it all stemmed from there, and also the of the ethos that we want more women in the corporate space.
Right.
Not only in the corporate space, I would say more women in the boardroom, I would say, to be more specific, so that women don't drop off the workforce fast.
I just want to interject and say that the World Bank has recently released statistics that say only 3 out of 100 CEOs in India are women. So there's this severe gender disparity that exists that clearly is the baseline of Vedika's mission to tackle. Sorry to cut you off. What you were saying?
So if I may say the growth, by 2019 we would be 4 years. End 2019 we would be 4.5 years old. We would have welcomed our fifth batch, which starts in August 2019, and by 2019 December we would have graduated over 200 scholars.
That's great.
And all of them would have started their careers in any shape or form, be it being their own entrepreneurs, or having a job in a corporate sector or the social sector. Basically, an appropriate job start for all of them. By end of 2019, we would have delivered about 4,500 teaching hours.
Wow.
We've engaged with more than 200 shadow women leaders. We've engaged with more than 75 program mentors, and over 450 companies have been engaged with us for the recruitment.
Wow.
So I think in the short span of time, we have reached till here. I think because of the curriculum,
right,
and the ethos of the program is what
drives
the growth. Yes.
Understood. That's great. That's some, it's great information to know. Another thing I just want to interject quickly here and tell everyone watching, if you have any questions whatsoever, please put them in the chat bar on the right hand side. We'll be able to see them immediately, and we'll get to answering them immediately. Moving back to Ruchi, I just want to ask you, with a student entering Vedika, she has access to program mentors, buddy mentors, to shadow mentors. So what do you think about the network that's formed for a student entering Vedika? I think, how do you approach that network? Is it a network for life? Is it some kind of bonding that exists? So just elaborate more on that.
Yeah, sure. So as soon as I would like to say something here, that we welcome everybody to the Vedika family, and the family is growing. And when I say Vedika family, means that everybody is as in a family. You are free to bond, and you are free to network with whoever you want to. So we are creating mentors for life at Vedika, which starts with buddy mentors in the program. So a Vedika scholar can reach out to any of the buddy mentors in the program. So the first point of contact, if they have any issue with whether college or outside college, they have somebody to reach out to, which is the first point of contact for them. Then we have, as you know, the program mentors, which are industry professionals, which help them and guide them through their careers, and also make them understand how it's going to be in the workforce, and really be on the advisory side. These people have from different walks of life and the different corporate sectors, social sector again, or any other space. And then the shadow mentors, where the scholars actually spend a month with them. So when they spend a month, I think each scholar develops a relationship with the shadow mentor, and she is free to take these relationships through her life, for any career advice, or for anything which is troubling her, or for any other move they make. So in the past, all our alums have been in touch with their mentors, and I keep hearing from alums that they've gone for lunch with a mentor, or they've gone and met somebody. If they're out of town, they've gone to meet them. So this is something which and apart from mentors, I think we have over 75 to 80 faculty members, which or maybe more. They are free to be in touch with the faculty if they want to go for research or any other kind of academic side. And then we have guest sessions, which is again a place where they can network. So any guest session which happens at Vedika, they are free to contact them. They can take the email IDs from us, or they can take it from the guest directly, and if that interests them, they can take the relationship further.
Right. As everyone can see, the onus is actually on the student themselves, because we give them a lot of freedom to connect with different mentors. Obviously, there's an interconnectedness in the batch as well. That's something I want to touch upon next. Is that with such a diverse batch of the different age groups, different work experience background, different educational backgrounds, what is the peer learning like at Vedika according to you when a student is coming in fresh for the batch of class of 2020?
Yeah. So I like Karan said, I've been involved with Vedika since the inception, and I've seen, and typically each cohort, and I think even this cohort, because I've been taking some interviews as well, and I can see that each cohort is typically 50% of them come with work experience, and 50% are freshers straight out of college. And all of them from education background are between liberal arts, engineers, maths, social sciences, they all come together. So I think first the peer learning starts firstly from the curriculum standpoint, that in terms of people with engineering background would say that we don't know much about management. There'll be somebody from the commerce side which will know something about the management but not know the other the liberal arts side. There are people from literature who join the cohort. So I think there's a lot of peer learning from the curriculum, from the academic perspective, and for sure there is also peer learning between the people who have had work experience and people with non-work experience, and it is facilitated by us through a lot of group assignments, a lot of group work, which helps them to collaborate and learn.
Right. So, that's another huge point that Ruchi's made, that there's a deep emphasis on group work, on collaboration, on kind of coming together to tackle different problems, whether that be for assignments or whether that be for help you need for other parts of your life, such as a career, etc. Now, I want to talk about career. As I've seen Vedika, that's how it's been designed and oriented. Is it's an 18-month long program, and for the first 12 months, the scholars are going through the motions of classes and learning through the different four tracks, which are tracks of management, liberal arts, communication, and personal growth. In the After a year, approximately, they go for their shadow a woman leader module, and then when they come back, it's all kept very career focused and preparing the students for interviews, for case preps, and different kinds of preparation. So, as a part of the careers team, can you mention some of the different preparation techniques or the one-on-ones that you have with the students and
Sure.
how that process
So
works?
as Karan said, in the month of July, they all go for the Shadow Woman module, and currently the fourth batch is all out there. And this year we have increased the module from 4 weeks to 6 weeks, so which has been great. And I think and this is only because of the feedback we got from mentors saying that 4 weeks was too short. So as you would know, that there's each term at Vedika is for 6 weeks. So one term is now devoted to a Shadow Woman Leader program. As soon as they come back, I think the career process kicks in, which starts with one-on-ones. Because at Vedika, it's very important for us to know that each scholar gets the job which she wants. It's not about just getting her a job, because she's starting her career here, and that's what we stand for. That we are going to help you take the first step to your long-lasting career. So for us to know that she really wants that job, we need to do career one-on-ones. We have meetings with them to decide where they can fit, and then it moves on to a lot of preparations, which is interview techniques, which is group discussions, which is case study analysis, and a lot of one-on-ones, and again interaction with people from the industry. So when people from the industry come in, they tell you how to be in an interview, what is supposed to be done. We also do refresher courses, in between August and December, so that they can kind of brush up their management skills. And also because they do it all year round, but it's just nice to do last minute preparation always.
Of course.
And then finally, our corporate outreach, which is done all year long, then comes together with companies sending us JDs, and then we float the JDs with our scholars and get an expression of interest from them, and that's how that expression of interest is sent to the companies, and then the interview process starts.
Right. That's some great insight because, as you mentioned, for a batch of about 60 students, 60, 70 students, we're engaged with over 450 companies. So clearly, you can see the ratio. And another thing Ruchi mentioned is the amount of personal one-on-one interactions that the careers team has, the writing team has, the academics team has. We believe in a lot of one-on-one interactions with the students. So that's kept as one of the principal philosophies at Vedika. There are some questions that are rolling in. The first one says talks about the loan process and in terms
Okay.
of some troubles in availing loans from
Yes.
IDBI Bank.
So I can see that, and I'm aware that there are certain issues which are coming up. And in fact, our team and me and my colleague visited the bank just last week. We're trying to get this sorted. I think there has been some changes in the person being shifted out or something. So there's some process-oriented stuff which is not working too well at IDBI. Having said that, I don't think there should be an issue on the at the macro level. These are the sort of micro issues which we need to take care of,
Right.
which I am in. I mean, I can't really take care of what's happening internally at IDBI Bank, but whatever best we can do, we are doing. Alternately, we have another
Affiliation with an NBC, NBFC.
NBFC. We can all send. They are also doing some good work because they also connect with banks. It's not that they only connect with NBFCs. So I think what we can do is for this interim period, we can maybe send out those details to everybody
Right.
who's seeking a loan.
Right.
And don't worry, we are in touch with IDBI Bank because we have got to know that there are some issues happening, and we are really trying to solve that at our end.
Rest be assured, everyone, that all your processes will be taken care of. There should be no. It'll be a smooth process for all the financial aid facilities.
Yeah, I think because they've been with us for the last 3 years. People have successfully taken loans. In fact, people have taken a loan from IDBI and gone to LCBS as well. So I just feel that there are some, their branch manager shifting out, or the person who was looking after the loan
Right,
is shifting out. So some process issues are
Mm.
happening, which hopefully will get solved in the coming week.
Right. Let's move to the next question, which says, do you think this program would be beneficial for students who have already completed an MBA? So,
Interestingly, I had an interview with someone just before yesterday, who's already done a distance learning MBA and wants to do this course. So honestly, it depends on the program you have done and what you have gained out of the program, right? So it is a very personal question, and which one needs to find out that whether that MBA has given you the career of your choice or has given you what you wanted to.
Yeah.
Because one can so that's something which one will have to kind of decide with
What exactly
do you want to do.
No, I understand. As you mentioned, some of the MBA schools or any, it's mushrooming left, right, and center these days. So unfortunately, with the slipping quality of education in India, there's a cookie cutter kind of product that is coming out of all these MBA schools. At Vedika, if you look at it, both in terms of the return on investment, in terms of the placement, in terms of the experience, in terms of the curriculum and peer learning, I think it's an unparalleled experience that is definitely one of the most unique experiences that a student can get studying management in India.
And also, I would like to add that obviously, if someone has done an MBA already, and we've had cases, scholars who have done an MBA, both distance learning and full time. What you'll get here, you might know the management track well, but if you join the program or you're already part of the program, what you would, I think, I can confidently say that you would have not been exposed to the liberal arts track in your regular MBA program, the communication track, and the personal growth and leadership track. So that's where we would score over a traditional MBA.
Right. I mean, if you think about it, which other college in a day could you study corporate finance in the morning, then go for visual communication class, and then have a panel discussion on communications in the evening? It's a very mixed bag that we feel that as a pedagogy works very, very good. Moving on to the next question, it says, what areas would be covered in this webinar? Actually, it's completely up to you. What we are here to answer, address, and clarify all your doubts. We will be speaking about the growth of the program, about placements, about admissions, about in detail of what makes a good Vedika application, how to crack the interview process. But feel free to ask any of the questions that you might have about any aspect of Vedika. We're here for you, and the chat feature is there for you to use as and when you please. Okay, moving on, I'd like to speak about alums. So, a question that at least at admission time we get a lot is about switching careers after your first job as an alumni. So, can you elaborate with something on that? I know there have been many successful alumni
Hmm.
who had absolutely great careers post their first job as well. So, perhaps you could take a couple of names as well. Let
Right, sure.
students know.
So, like you all would know that three batches have been successfully placed. So, obviously, the people from the first batch and second batch, as you know, these days the millennial culture, if I may say so, that they don't want to stay on for more than a year, two
Right,
years
right.
at any job. Having said that, we've already seen movements, or we have seen movements in their positions as well. So we've had a scholar, Durga, join Nestle as a sales trainee, and I'm talking of this is in Nestle, but like the career progression, and now she's a national lead for key accounts. Okay, so there's a huge jump
Right.
in
Wow.
1 year
Hmm.
she's had.
Hmm.
We've had, interestingly, we've had a liberal arts person join the program, Sia Sood,
Sia.
who joined us, and she did the 18 months program. Went to Albright Stonebridge Group as a for public policy and consulting, and now has moved to McKinsey.
Wow.
We've had, interestingly, Abhilasha again from the liberal arts side joined Max Healthcare in strategy, and now at OYO Room doing phenomenally well as a program
Product manager.
Product manager. Sorry.
Right.
So these are some of the cases which I'm talking about. If you talk of Meghna, who's joined Soultree as a brand, as an she joined the CEO's team for branding, and now has moved on to being a creative director because that's what she wanted to do
Wow.
all her life. So we've had enough and more cases. There are a few names I'm taking, but there are enough and more cases where people have switched their careers. So one of our scholars has gone to Bangalore to study. So it's been interesting that they all are moving on, and I think that's what the program teaches them. That we like to say that we are making sure that women have long-lasting, successful careers.
That's great. Okay, let's tend to some of more of the questions. We have some questions here. The next question says, my question is regarding some preparatory study references to go through before starting up with the course. As such, I don't think there are any particular topics or areas that you need to study. However, we have sent everyone a small reading list of different books in each of the tracks. So if you haven't received this, please write to us at info@vedikascholars.com and we'll reply to you with that particular reading list. So it's just again that reading list is also optional. This is just to get give everyone a flavor of what each course will be like. For example, we have a book by Monica Halan for women on managing personal finance. That's strictly not in the course or in the materials of the course, but would give you a good insight into the ethos of Vedika and what we're trying to do here.
And also, I'd just like to add here that in a postgraduate and especially a management program, everybody, I mean, we are well aware, and the program is well aware that people come from all walks of life. In
Yes.
terms of somebody could be an engineer, somebody could be from liberal arts, somebody could be from sciences. So all the tracks start at ground zero and then they build up.
Right, right. So again, I hope that answers your question. The next question is, when will the classes start in August? By when should we reach Delhi? So just letting you know that by the 5th or 6th of July, you should expect a formal mail coming in from the academic team. But over here, I can declare that classes or orientation week will begin on the 6th of August. And for all students to move into hostel, you have the 4th and 5th of August as the two move-in dates for hostel move-in, beyond which the program starts. Then we have a question saying, how would the day-to-day schedule be? I mean, if I would recommend you watch a webinar, the admissions webinar we had last time with a student, Nishtha Bar Thakur, and she clearly elaborates and goes through. I would say approximately it's a day that goes from 9 to 6. Students take say 2 to 3 courses in different tracks. Again, the 4 tracks are management, liberal arts, communications, and personal growth. Students are studying different courses. They have lunch, obviously, in the middle. They go back, they do group assignments, they do other fun stuff. There's peer learning circles that go on within the students, so students are either doing yoga or zumba, different activities that keep happening. The advantage, of course, being that hostel and campus are literally 2 minutes away. They're right opposite each other, so a lot of time is saved for all the students that are there. So that's a small idea of the day-to-day, what it looks like. If you want more of a detailed answer, please refer to the webinar we had earlier with Nisha. Now going ahead, what is an estimate for 6 months at LCBS inclusive of tuition and living?
Approximately, this would work to around keeping the accommodation. 3,000 pounds was last year's tuition fee, and I think roughly 1.5 lakh more for staying there for 6 months. I think I can give you the exact figure and check with one of the girls who was back just recently, but an approximate figure to this would be around 5 lakhs for 6 months.
So 4,500 to 5,000 pounds.
Pounds, yes.
Right. And I should mention that the tuition fee of about
Yes,
3.5 is hugely discounted from the regular fee that students are paying at DMU. They have to pay a fee of 8,000
yes,
for the
correct.
tuition compared to the Vedika scholars who are paying
About 3,000.
about 3,000 or so. So that's a huge advantage that we have as a part of our partnership.
So we are saying it approximately right now because it might get, it might increase a little bit by October. So by October, we'll know for the next batch.
Perfect. That sounds good. So another question is the LCBS program for 6 months on DMU campus or only 3 there and 3 months back in India? So, Reena, I'd recommend you to check our webinar that we had with Mohini on LCBS, specifically on LCBS. It's an option for each student. So there are one or two terms that you can spend after your tenure at Vedika. Each term is of course 3 months, and once completing that first 3 month module, you then have an option to do an externship within the United Kingdom over there, depending on the student, of course. So the student having to find the facility, having to find those opportunities, you can do an externship that one of our students has at LCBS recently done. So options are there. Otherwise, students, we see them coming back to India and looking for careers over here and pursuing more furiously now that they're armed with that global MBA degree from LCBS. Um, okay, when will be the orientation? Are parents invited for the same? We just recently answered this. If you want to have an answer to this, just go back, rewind the video, watch it. I would say parents shouldn't be invited for orientation because the amount of bonding exercises, amount of immersion that's required. I mean, for a week completely, every scholar is going to be together. You'll be learning about each other. You'll be learning about your roommates. And I would say that time is very, very precious, the first 2-3 weeks that it's there. So I would encourage everyone to make the most of them. So we have two questions here about the calendar for breaks, holidays, and vacations. Do you want to talk about something?
Yeah. So, when you come in, you will get the academic calendar after the orientation. Uh, for terms of breaks, holidays, and vacation, as you know, we are an alternate to a traditional education program. We do not have like large breaks. This is a very professional program, and it's more like you're giving us 18 months.
Right, and I would like to mention here that it's not a semester-based system.
Right.
So it's a consecutive term of 18 months.
Having said that, we are conscious that one needs break. So we have instilled some short holidays around Diwali, around summer, and winter. Those are the three main which come up. And I mean, we'll share the calendar with you as soon as you come in. But these are the three main. I mean, don't compare it to any other regular MBA school, which goes 2 weeks. Like a summer break would be say 2 weekends and a working weeks, which is 9 days, something like that. A winter break would be similar, which would typically be after say after we had a convocation, because when you all will join in, you will be seeing not all of you, but there'll be a convocation for the fourth batch in December.
Right.
So typically after 22nd, 23rd of December till about 5th, 6th Jan. So Jan, summer, month of June before you guys go for shadow. May,
Right.
June for shadow.
I guess after terms also sometimes we give
Yes.
small.
So yes, what we started doing is that we have 13 terms, and as like Karan said, it's not a semester system. So what we do is before, normally you have 2 days a break, like you have a 5 day a working week, and between two terms you would have a 3 or a 4 day holiday, depending on combining a weekend and 1 or 2 more days depending on the calendar.
Great. I hope that answers the questions in terms of holidays, the kind of idea and breakdown of the calendar. again, we will be getting access to this as soon as the term begins. So just wait for six to kind of plan all of any kind of vacations or trips for your holidays out. Okay, moving on to the next question. What is the minimum package offered to the scholars? Also, what roles/job profiles are offered to the scholars? Marketing, HR. Ruchi, do you want to take this up?
Yeah, sure. So, over the last 3 years, we've maintained an average salary of around 9 lakhs. Having said that, that's an average for people with work ex and non and freshers. And the upward salary moves up to anywhere between 22, 18, and above. I would say that's the range, which has been between 18 and 22. For freshers, I would typically say to reasonably know what the range is going to be for people who haven't worked before. There's a minimum of 6 lakh which we have kept, that we don't go below 6 lakh.
Right.
6 lakh as a package. So there are companies which have come to us and said we're offering 4 or 3.5 or 4.5. We've kind of turned those opportunities down because we have kept a benchmark of 6 lakh as a minimum package for freshers. Uh, Comfortably, I would say the range for and some companies also pay more, so I'm not getting into the details of that, but I would say a range would be between 6 to 7.5 for freshers, with 6 as a starting, and it can go up to 7.5 or 8 sometimes as well. We've had interestingly, there's one company this year, Airtel Payment Bank, who wanted to take the fresher up to 11 lakhs as well. So that depends totally on the
Right.
companies only,
upon,
but
yeah.
our benchmark is 6 as the minimum. So fairly, I would say 6 to 7.5 lakhs for a fresher too. And with work experience, I would say anywhere upward of 8, 8.5, going up to, depending on your experience, upon your the college experience you've had, the college university you come from, you can expect anything above 8.5 to 18 to 15 to 20, 22.
22. That's great. Addressing this, also, what are the roles kind of offered to the scholars? Maybe if you can address it briefly and talk about the different roles.
Yeah, because so what we so in terms of, as you know that the curriculum we are teaching here covers all aspects of management, which is marketing, finance, strategy, operations, the HR, organizational behavior. So the roles offered are also across these courses. Like the verticals would be maybe they've been in marketing, digital marketing, sales, finance, lot of they've had HR roles. They could have gone on payroll. Some of the consulting companies have come for a deal advisory role and strategy-based roles. Some of the interesting roles are where a lot of startups take young people for their founders, and there's a founders team. So a lot of people have been employed in a founders team where they work on branding, or they're working on marketing, or they're working on HR roles. So that's how their roles are.
So I hope that answers your question. Depending on the different verticals in management education, I'm sure that the entire gamut of roles are offered there. And it's, again, as I mentioned earlier, it's a personalized process. So if you want a particular job or want to work in a particular company, in your one-on-one interaction when you're having it with the careers team, you can make it a possibility. And if the careers team can connect with them, we definitely will connect them for you.
I can see a question by Afreen saying that she's been looking forward to Vedika's being a Vedika scholar. Been offered a
selection letter, but I'm worried about the scholarship.
So just wanted to know, have you sent in all your papers for scholarships? And if you've not heard back from us, please email us again, and we'll see what is the outcome of the scholarship request you've sent out. So please do that. If it's been missed, or maybe one of your papers are not complete, just get back to us and we can solve for that.
Right. I just want to answer this question again asked by Afreen. What are some competencies that you would want a Vedika scholar to entail? I'll answer this very briefly in 3 small words, which is committed, confident, and collaborative. So committed, of course, to the program, to the vision, to the mission of having social impact, changing the statistics of women empowerment at the workforce. Confident in both your approach to life, in your careers, in your communication. That's something we instill through our curriculum, through the writing center, etc. And collaborative is always oriented towards this network, oriented towards this community of women leaders, academicians, industry experts. students, faculty that are all there together to work towards this common mission. So, these are the three top qualities that we would love to have for our scholars to imbibe. Um, okay, let's move on. Um, right. So Reena is asking over here, the fees of around £5,000 is for one term of 3 months. I'm sure you're referring to the LCBS LCBS module here. So Reena has mentioned before, after completion of one term, you will be granted the global MBA degree. That other term is optional for all students. It's an externship opportunity that is there in the UK. That again, it depends on the students upon her creating those opportunities. We've had students in the past before who've gone to LCBS and spent both the 2 terms there and had a great experience. So if anyone does want to even connect with them, then please write to us at info@vedikascholars.com, and we can hopefully have you connect over email or phone to answer any specific questions that you have.
And for the incoming batch of in August 2019, uh, you all would need to decide in October 2020 or whether you want to go for the LCBS program or not, and you would be given enough. You'll be given the appropriate information before deciding.
Great. Okay, Anvesha is asking, is there any scholarship opportunity we can avail if we get selected for Vedika? Anvesha, it seems from your question that you're still in the process of applying to Vedika. First off, I would like to encourage you to complete your application ASAP, because we are winding up with our admissions process by 14th July. Post that, Vedika admissions will be closed. So all interviews, all screening of the application form must be conducted before that.
I'm sorry to interrupt. If
yeah.
I'm not mistaken, I think I've interviewed Anvesha.
We've already interviewed.
I think so.
So that's great.
Having said that, yes, scholarship scholarship. We do offer scholarships, and the criteria for scholarship is need, merit, and diversity, where need being the pivot point, and we really need to determine the need before we move to the next level of merit and diversity. Because in the cohort we've had, we have scholars who are first generation learners who are really from, backgrounds where they cannot afford the program, have a huge potential. So obviously, they kind of come up on the scholarship radar. I mean, but having said that, if you think that there is something which is you require a scholarship and genuinely there is a need, we urge you to.
Right. I mean, just to reinforce that, for students, apply at Vedika. If the student is capable and deserving and really needs that scholarship, then it is our privilege to help students out in such a scenario. Of course. Moving on, Shubha has asked: can scholars opt for LCBS after working for a year or two, or do we have to go right after it after completing the 18 months program?
Interestingly, this opportunity is available for Vedika alums. And this year, when two people went from the current batch, which was the third batch, they went in January this year. We had one scholar which had it's open for all Vedika alums. So you can either work or go later. That's entirely up to you.
Right. Something that's extremely rare, I would like to reinforce, is as an alumni coming back and completing that module when you require it,
and getting a global MBA
and getting that global MBA degree. That's always an option that's available to you, both after completing the 18 months and as an alumni after completing, some amount of work experience. Okay, I can see the questions have kind of stopped for now. I'd like to just drive in another point over here, that 14th July is our last date for admissions. Admissions will be closing after this. Our commencement of our batch is on the 6th of August. So for all students who are watching us, anyone who's admitted into the program, anyone who's completed their application, anyone who's the registration, anyone who's just curious about Vedika, we are we encourage you to spread the word about the program. The program is still young, and the mission is extremely grand, and the aims and the efforts to fight it are they're it's at a full throttle level, for at least from our end. And this kind of wicked problem of women empowerment, of horrible gender diversity statistics in the workforce, That's a problem that we all need to collectively hold hands and solve. So, for any women with an undergraduate degree that that are oriented towards improving their careers, or oriented towards having a change in life, of making their mark, we'd encourage everyone to tell your friends, to tell relatives about Vedika. Again, as mentioned, 14th July is the last date, so please do inform everyone about admissions, the process that's still going on.
Thank you so much for being part of this webinar, and we look forward to welcoming most of you or all of you for the batch of 2020. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone.